Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Freelancer commentary, and I know say this a lot, particularly whenever I'm recording commentaries during the December through February months, but oh my god, that planet looks so refreshingly cold. Yeah, we're going through a bit of a heatwave in Australia at the moment, and today it's it's a fucking scorcher, dude.
Hey, Trent! Over here.
This place is starting to feel like home.
Trent, meet Marcus Walker. He's the captain of the Liberty cruiser. He's just agreed to help us.
Always happy to help out the LSF. I've known Junko for years. Sorry to hear about your luck on Freeport 7. You were fortunate to get out alive.
So I've been told.
Seems nowadays if it isn't smugglers, it's the Order, or some other scum trying to take advantage of us. Piracy is running rampant. You know, Trent, the Liberty military is always looking for good pilots to join them full-time. It's a worthy cause.
Thanks, but no thanks. Causes come and go. I think I'd rather just keep freelancing, if it's all the same to you.
Suit yourself. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to make preparations. Nice meeting you, Trent. I'll see you at the rendezvous.
See you in space, Trent.
Yeah, Trent, I'll see you in space too. Well, mainly because I'm in a completely different dimensional plane than you, but that's neither here nor there in this case. Yeah, very short part today. In hindsight, I probably should have included it with the previous part, especially considering that it does still continue the very, growing conspiracy elements within the Liberty Navy in and of itself, so it's not just Rhineland that's acting suspicious. Yeah, as you're going to be hearing from King and eventually Walker, yeah, let's just say that things are not what they seem. But regardless, I think we're about to deal with this conspiracy head-on, so let us just activate our crew engines and carry on forth as we meet up with Walker in space.
Junko, this is King.
King? What's going on?
After you called me from Willard, I started to ask around a bit. I can just CO is in prison. There's been a major shakeup in the higher ranks of the LSF.
That's only the tip of the iceberg. We were just attacked by Rhineland Valkyries.
What? Rhinelanders?
King, we're almost at our rendezvous point. I'll contact you once we're on Willard Station.
Okay, I'll try to find out what's going on. Talk to you soon.
So, first Junior's commanding officer, and now several officials in the Liberty Navy, and indeed the LSF itself. I wonder. It's very interesting. But yeah, in any case, as Walker brings up here, yeah, apparently even he and his crew were scheduled for a bit of a maintenance checkup, despite the fact that everything is very ship-shape, and they, in and of themselves, had already had it done 2 months ago. But we don't have time to think about that conspiracy aspect now, because now Willard Station is in trouble. Oh, shucky darns, I guess that means no potentially embarrassing things happening to Walker. But yeah, needless to say that, you know, Liberty, for a place that was once considered one of the safest spots in the universe, well, yeah, let's just say these growing tensions are about to come to a head in the next part, which is part of the reason why this part in and of itself is so short. But in turn, it's also because, well, yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I am cutting out a lot of the side missions you can do in between, you know, story missions, which, you know, hence the cascade difficulty leveling up system that I mentioned before in the previous part. Yeah. This is part of the reason why I wanted to, you know, sort of get the viewer acclimatized to Liberty through these various parts. So that, you know, it sort of gives you a chance to really sort of see the difference maker as you'll be seeing in the next part, because, yes, breathe in the sights of Liberty space as you, while you can, because, well, yeah, let's just say we're about to get a lot more open just as soon as we arrive at our destination. And before we finally get into battle, there is one last thing I want to talk about, which is also to do with the level up system. Also, again, I already talked about this in regards to weapon classes and your shields and things you can upgrade with your ship. But yeah, there is also jump gate access. Again, you can pretty much access 3 systems, apart from Manhattan, the New York system, Colorado, California, stuff like that. But they're pretty much the only places you can access at this point in the game. You will be able to access, you know, other parts of the systems just as soon as, well, shortly after the next part as we actually get to enter a different star system. But needless to say, though, yeah, you know, you don't really get a lot of freedom just yet, and I will talk about that a little bit more in the next part, but again, as I mentioned in the previous part, as I promised, yeah, I'm going to be talking about the mechanics of dogfighting, and really some of the ins and outs as to why it pays to be skilled and have a more maneuverable fighter. Again, I do still think that the Defender, you know, in spite of what you're going to be seeing here, is still your best bet, but yeah, maneuverability and thruster capabilities are a little bit dampened by the fact that, again, you have more weapons. And indeed, unless of course you're really willing to know the enemy's ins and outs, by the way, when it comes to tackling these Rhineland gunboats, aim for the engines, that's the weak point. But yeah, don't leave yourself a very stationary target, because otherwise, well, you're going to be losing your shield, and why you want to keep your shield up as often as possible is because, well, as you're going to be seeing, well, right around here, actually. Oh, maybe a little bit later, but yeah, needless to say, yeah, bits and pieces of your ship can also come flying off. But that also happens for the enemies, so again, you can potentially shoot down bits of their wings and, you know, make them lose some weaponry. Or Trent, in and of himself, can also lose, you know, some of his gear, and that's very no bueno. Especially when you're in direct lines of fire with a lot of those Rhineland ships that have some very heavy weaponry. And no, Trent's wing, it is gone! And so is some of the usability of our weapons, so yeah, be on your guard. But needless to say though, again, if you do want to get your ship repaired, again, nanobots aren't going to cover this damage, but again, you can get your ship repaired at, you know, various bases that you're, you know, on friendly terms with, so again, you can pretty much land, have your ship repaired, and yeah, I think you, I can't quite remember, I think you do need to buy back some of the weapons you've lost, but yeah, needless to say, in keeping with traditional RPG systems, it is worth, you know, paying attention to the, you know, hull and shield damage output on your weapons compared to, you know, some of the other ones, because yeah, while you will use up a little bit more power, depending on some of the more powerful weapons you equip in the game, yeah, it does pay to have, you know, some high damage output weapons to keep yourself in the fight, and especially for heavy fighters that aren't quite as maneuverable. Yeah, it's best to stock up on heavy firepower so that when you're going into a bit of a dogfighting joust like this, yeah, you can pretty much take down some of the Rhineland ships no problem, and you should be good, dude. But in any case, we pretty much just have one fighter left to go. And that's pretty much it.
We did it! All the gunboats are out of it. Junko, I'll have to stay here and deploy repair teams. Why don't you join me in the station and we can discuss what's going on with the LSF and the Navy?
Okay. Trent, this'll take some time and you've gone beyond the call of duty already. I'm transferring your payment now. I recommend that you take on a few jobs in the meantime. Once I know more, I'll contact you again. Right now, I need to find out what's going on.
And by the time Junie does, this will very much be, well, yeah, the good times, they be going mighty fast. So on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you next time in the Freelancer commentary. Bye-bye.